Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and the latest roundup of wrestling game news, where today we have updates on WWE 2K23's DLC offerings, we have confirmation of Stadium Stampede coming to AEW Fight Forever, and then we're also going to be discussing the rumours of a remaster for Smackdown, Here Comes the Pain. Before we get into that though, if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with all the latest wrestling game news, then please do hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss out on future videos. So let's start with WWE 2K23, as last week we got some news surrounding the upcoming Revel with Wyatt DLC pack, which is set to release on July 19th, as the WWE Games account dropped some new screenshots, the first of which give us our first look at Bray Wyatt, where it was confirmed that the version of Wyatt that we're getting is taken from an episode of Smackdown that aired back in February, where Wyatt appeared with this black mask. With the release of the screenshot, it wasn't long before people started looking into it and examining it to see what they could find, with many pointing out a blurred character in the background, with speculation being that this could be Uncle Howdy. Now this was later confirmed as the WWE Games account followed up their initial tweet with a second screenshot, this time showing off Uncle Howdy himself. The reveal of Uncle Howdy appears to confirm that he'll be included as a bonus character in the upcoming Revel with Wyatt pack, though it's unknown if he'll be a playable character or if he'll be added as a manager. One thing that is for certain is that it won't take long for modders to remove the mask, so it'll be interesting to see who's under there. Moving on, let's talk AEW Fight Forever, as following its release, the game has been met with a pretty mixed reaction, as while a lot of reviews have praised the game for its throwback arcade style, there's also been a lot of criticism over how limited the game is, especially for a full-priced release. The biggest concern though comes in regards to stability, as the game is currently unplayable on PS4, with users reporting that the game will crash when trying to load up exhibition matches, Road to Elite, and even creations. In response to the reports, the AEW Games Discord has announced that they're aware of the issue and its cause, and that they're currently working on a fix to resolve it. If you're one of the players that's suffering from this problem, there is a workaround you can use while waiting for a patch, as various users have suggested turning off the PS4's network connection, as this will stop the game from crashing. Outside of the main crash problem, there's also been a ton of glitches shared, with players falling through ladders or falling through the ring, tag team partners running all over the place, and a lot of problems with online play where users have been warping around the ring, freezing, or even seeing the match continue after a 3 count. So far, there's been no word on a patch update, other than that the team are currently working on a fix for the PS4 issue, so hopefully that patch will also address some of these issues. As for the future of Fight Forever, it was stated during the promotion for the game that the current plan is to keep updating and adding to the game over time rather than release games yearly. One mode that looks set to be added in the very near future is the Stadium Stampede match, as Twitter user Drainmaker shared some screenshots of the match that show off the stadium itself, as well as some of the things that players can do, such as collecting weapon pickups that include unique weapons like the t-shirt launcher, climbing the upper sections and throwing opponents over the guardrails to the area below, driving around in a golf cart, and even riding a horse. Along with the screenshots, Drainmaker also shared some details on the match, including its official description, which reads, "A Battle Royale style mode pitting together up to 30 players at once, fight within a massive stadium and aim to be the last wrestler standing." While no official announcement has been made on Stadium Stampede, addressing the leaks, Kenny Omega did actually confirm it, as he spoke to uprocks.com regarding future updates and stated the following. "There's always going to be additions to this game. You haven't seen anything yet. You've seen a little bit, but you haven't seen a lot of things that I'm very excited for. There's something in particular coming up. It's sort of been leaked a little bit, so the Stadium Stampede mode. I'm very excited for, and I think people are going to have a lot of fun. It's something so incredibly unique, I think it's going to be great." After confirming the mode, Kenny also went on to talk about some of the other planned updates, where he confirmed that they'll continue to add new stars to the roster, as well as confirm that new match types and new creation parts will also be added. Next up, let's talk Smackdown Here Comes the Pain, as there's been a lot of rumours doing the rounds that claim 2K are currently working on a remaster of the game, as back in July of 2019, Bryan Williams, who is currently WWE 2K's associate gameplay producer, he tweeted, "Had a great day at the office today. I basically had a 6-hour meeting with my co-workers discussing plans for a project that I hope becomes a reality. We played a lot of Smackdown Here Comes the Pain today. Now, the reason this tweet is currently doing the rounds is that Bryan yesterday replied to his tweet, writing, "This tweet officially became a reality." Now, following Bryan's latest tweet, a lot of people took this to mean that Smackdown Here Comes the Pain Remaster was in the works, and that Bryan's tweet had confirmed it, though that doesn't seem to be the case at all. To give some context, Bryan's initial tweet about playing Here Comes the Pain came on July 16th, 2019, at which time he was currently employed by Yuke's. At that point in time, Yuke's had already parted ways with 2K, though it wouldn't be made public until around 3 weeks later. That means that during the time Bryan made the Here Comes the Pain tweet, it couldn't have been in relation to a remaster, as he was working with Yuke's, who had already parted ways with WWE and 2K. Because of this, what Bryan's tweet appears to be in reference to was a game that Yuke's was said to be working on at the time, as earlier that year, in May of 2019, Yuke's senior vice president and producer Hiromi Furuta told Video Games Chronicle that they'd begun working on their own game, which at the time she said would be internal competition for their WWE team, as a split from 2K had yet to be announced. As for what became of that game, it's likely that that was the game that became AEW Fight Forever, as Bryan Williams previously spoke about how he had reached out to AEW to see if there was any interest in an AEW video game. Fast forward back to today, and that's what Bryan's recent comments about his tweet becoming a reality seem to be in relation to, as my belief when reading it, and a lot of the comments on it, were that he was talking about the AEW game and that his initial tweet had become a reality. So that's what my take on the tweet was, and some of the context behind it, but could we see a remaster of Here Comes the Pain in the future? Personally, I don't think there's a chance that we'll see an official remaster, as there's too many issues when it comes to rights, as 2K would need to secure the rights to all of the stars that appeared in the original if they wanted to use the same roster, plus, given that it was developed by Yuke's, then I'm sure they'd have a few issues over their rights and who owns what. Instead, I think it's much more likely that we could get a new arcade-style game featuring a modern take on Here Comes the Pain, similar to Fight Forever, as we already know that 2K are currently working on several arcade titles, as this has been something that they've noted in their investor reports, though so far none of those games have been announced. One thing I will say is that if Fight Forever sells well, and it shows that there's a market for an arcade wrestling game, then that's definitely something that would kick 2K into announcing their own arcade game, and given the competition with AEW, it should mean that they strive to outdo them, which for us as consumers is the best thing that could happen, as the competition between the two should lead to better games in the future. So that's the latest roundup of wrestling game news. Let me know what you made of everything that we've discussed today in the comments, as well as your thoughts on Bryan's tweets. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself an awesome day, and I'll catch you later.